I'm absolutely disappointed with this smearing campaign which has started. The message which was sent by Michael Chen is untruthful, and I hope that he'll be able to spend positive time to talk to the citizens and to tell the citizens as a candidate how and what we as politicians are prepared to do for them and what the party really stands for. Being as a candidate for the Ontario PC, I believe we have to resolve the gridlock, taxation issues, and also the health care which is desperately in need for the citizens of Markham. I would like to spend this next 20-some days left, which is a very short time, to talk to as many residents of Markham and to understand the needs, so I will be better prepared myself to represent them when I'm actually sent and elected for Markham residents in Queen's Park. The other thing is, I would like to let the residents know that I'm prepared to voice the concern and be the strong message, a strong voice in Markham. I'm not going to be as a parrot as what, unfortunately, the Liberal leader is not allowing the elected MPP to present themselves and openly voice for the local residents who elected them. This statement absolutely is inaccurate and absolutely wrong. I believe the proper message which is written and in any of the literature and any statement John Tory ever have represented or has mentioned is to mention and feel sorry for the elected member, for the Markham residents who sent Tony Wong to represent the Markham, Ontario, to voice the concern, but unfortunately the party leader, McGuinty, will not allow him to do such things and have him to set a backbencher. I do not believe, and I never have recollect any of the message says anything to do with the word Chinese or any other ethnic cultures, but more of the style of the leaders of McGuinty who actually have done and not allowing the opportunity for the elected members to voice, to be a strong message for Markham. I hope and I wish Michael Chen understand what this election is really running for. Is it running for Ontario, or is it running for federal? With these statements, I don't really know where he actually drive and what does he really want to have the resident of Markham, which is we are focusing on Ontario issues, and I believe he's using this and any other tactic to sidetrack the citizens of Markham to make the proper decisions and the correct decisions where they should focus in. Well, I really don't know how to help Michael Chen. Maybe for him to either buy a map to identify where is my campaign office. Is it physically in what township? If it's in Richmond Hill or Markham. 4128 Highway 7 East is the heart of Markham, and if he cannot figure out whether this location is in Markham or Richmond Hill, personally I cannot help him. But on the other hand, as I believe he is in the extreme desperate mode to do anything possible to create a smear make this as a smear statement and to sidetrack the citizens of Ontario, and also, more importantly, to waste time with this precious time to understand what the Markham citizens' concern.
The last point I want to ask is not in the three-part statement. In yesterday's press conference, Michael Chen also mentioned that you was the speaker in CPAC annual dinner last year. All right, and then you did mention a few times that you know Mike Harris so well, and you can call his office while he's in Premier and get things done. So my question is that how do you know Mike Harris, and how close your relationship?
First and foremost, there's 2 points. Mike Harris is a Premier of Ontario, and I was a member of the Ontario Job Investment Board. The focus of Ontario Job Investment Board is to help Ontario how to create new jobs and also how to invite new investors in Ontario. Through this Ontario Job Investment Board, a number of ministers are also on the board. Me as a business person and a community activist, Mike Harris is actually lending my background to actually help him to decipher and find a better way to do it. Being as a spokesperson at the CPAC as a keynote speaker back in August over the summertime, my focus and my reason for me to ask is to speak to a number of new Canadians, mainly coming from mainland China. They are professional in the home country and have a hard way to find a way to better use of their skills to create business and so forth. As there's absolutely no reason or place for me to even mention anything as such. The other thing is, as what he say is untrue, and unfortunately, there's another smearing campaign that what he used. And I feel absolutely sorry for him, and more importantly, I feel sorry for any person who put themselves forward to serve the public and call politicians. And he actually is another example to put politicians in a very, very bad name.
So my question is that, do you know Mike Harris before you joined the Job Investment Board or after that?
That will be after that.
Okay, so are you a close friend to Mike Harris?
No, not exactly how he described. Everybody knows Mike Harris because he's the Premier of Ontario at one time, and anybody can call him, but again, is whether his office will respond to the caller and the issues and so forth. But based on the descriptions, I believe I personally know him and so on and so forth. I don't think that actually it has any factual value.
Well, Mike Harris is in government, so did you ever call Mike Harris and get things done, or?
I don't think I ever called him for anything to be done. The only thing ever I believe is to call his office, not him personally, is to report what the work that we do for the Ontario Job Investment Board, because probably Mike Harris do not want to talk to too many people fundamentally, because he has so many positions, jobs, while he is as Premier.
Okay. Mike Harris' famous policy is tax cut. Right now, does the PC party has the tax cut in his platform? And what about you think about the tax cut? Will you include your tax cut in your platform?
One of the taxations, John Tory and the PC party has committed, as soon as the Ontario PC comes to power, the unfair tax, which is called health premium, has to be looked into and has to be removed. This health premium can be resolved and be done by two factors. Number one is to make the Ontario department or organizations to be more efficient, so we can actually use the money to the proper channel, which is unfortunately the current government, the Liberal McGuinty, is not doing that. And secondly, is to find other source once the economy is doing well and more jobs and more investment is done here in Ontario, and that's the proper way to have the tax revenue versus to increase tax and to punish those who still have a job and punish those who still have a business. We should encourage people to find jobs, encourage people to make business and do well, and that's the proper way to raise tax revenue.
According to your statement to media after you got nominated, you say you're a new kid in politics. But when we see that you got lots of support from Don Carson, Jim Jones, and Bill Bell, yeah, and say Mike Harris. Is that contradicting what you say you're a new kid in politics?
New kid in politics, in terms of I personally do not know how to create a smear campaign to broken promise as what Michael Chen is currently doing, as for that matters. I do not run politics for that matters, but I have been actively working in community work and also 25 years in business. That prepared me to understand accountability, responsible and transparency in business, in community, and of course I personally believe a government should have that factors in order for a province to attract business here in Ontario rather than they go to other province or even worse, go to other country.
So right now, only a few days after the Premier Delta McKinney called a by-election. So do you feel the heat right now for the next 20-something days? Do you feel the battle or competition is so keen for it?
Well, I personally hope and I personally believe to run for a campaign, we should spend our time positively to talk to the citizens of Markham, what we actually here prepared to do for them, what the party is prepared to back with these elections or with these by-elections, instead of spending our time and sending a smear message and spending our time negatively, because this campaign is only totally 28 days fundamentally, and if we wasted our time in doing that way, we are actually not paying the attention to the voters, to the constituents who are the person we should be caring, instead of wasting our time to actually talking to reporters, talking to our lawyers if necessary, and versus talking to the citizens of Markham.